Yo, what is going on, everybody? It is Screwball Toy Hunts back here with another review for you guys today. And today we're going to be reviewing the Marvel Legends Luke Cage Power Man from the brand new Mindless One Wave. So before we get into that, thank you guys so much for joining me on this video. Can we get a minimum of 100 likes on today's video? As that is the best way you can help me grow this channel is by hitting that like button. And speaking of growing the channel, we are doing a giveaway. We're giving away a Marvel Legend of your choosing. All you got to do is be publicly subscribed, like this video, turn on the post notifications for all the content on the channel, and last but certainly not least, leave a comment on the comment section on what your favorite memory of all time with Marvel Legends is, and I will pick the winner once we hit 3,000 subscribers. So there is that. Sorry, I'm just trying to adjust the camera, my tripod. There we go. I mean, it works, I guess, and don't mind all the Marvel Legends we have reviewed. They're over there on the side right now. But today we're going to be looking at Luke Cage. So this wave, of course, as you guys may or may not know, is a online slash like exclusive to anywhere but Walmart or Target. So if you expect to find these at Walmart and Target, just don't even try because they're not going to be there. Don't know why. Maybe they thought that some of these characters wouldn't sell. I mean, I'm not entirely sure what the reasoning is behind that. But, hey, guess what? The return of the OG original plastic packaging is finally back. Very, very excited. Finally getting back to normal. You know, I'm very excited. So let's just get right into it. I picked this up on Amazon. They're all on Amazon. To be honest with you, though, they are going in and out. So people are actually snatching these up. So I guess we'll just look on the back here. For example, Clea is like completely sold out. Can't get her. Or I can't get Blade, which are the unfortunate two ones I want. So out of the whole wave, don't expect me to review this whole wave because I'm not going to. I want Blade and I want Clea. Clea, I think, is going to be a good seller because she is now in the MCU. Of course, if you watch Doctor Strange 2's end credit. So, of course, I think she's going to sell pretty well. Daredevil, not his definitive look. But it's all right. So let's look at the front of the packaging end. So he has Build-A-Figure piece, two hands, and of course, on the top, we got the classic Luke Cage logo with some skyscrapers, it looks like, and then the LC, it's like for his initials. And the mindless one, of course, is the Build-A-Figure, of course. And I guess we'll look on the side. We have a nice comic picture of Luke Cage on each side, same picture on each. And let's go to the back, and I'm very excited because guess what? We finally have read-ups back. Read-ups are finally back on Marvel Legends boxes. So let's read the read-up on Luke Cage. Having accidentally gained superhuman strength and bulletproof skin from a science experiment, Luke Cage becomes a hero for hire known as Power Man. Hey, listen, just a couple sentences, but guess what? Goes a long way. Couple sentences go a long way. Maybe you don't know who this guy is. Maybe you want to get a better understanding on who Power Man Luke Cage is. So, the read-ups are back, which I'm very excited for because I actually alluded to it in a couple videos ago. I was like, I wish Marvel Legends would bring these back. I legitimately had no idea before that they were back. But I looked at this figure. I got it out of the package today on my Amazon box. And I was like, oh my gosh, like read-ups are actually back. So it's pretty exciting. So let's get into it. There's no other way or nothing else to do except to get into it. And I'm very hesitant to open these. As you guys know, I am a mint on card guy. But when Hasbro went plasticless, I started opening them up. And, well, guess what? Now we're going to open them up. So no more mint on card collecting for me. Now here's the back of the, I guess, the background. Some people like to see what that looks like without the plastic in there. That's what it looks like. And outside of the package, you got this, all right? So you got, let me take these out. The hands are taped, so they're not going to fall out like the retro carded X-Men 97 figures, which, by the way, I did pick up Magneto today. So at GameStop, they had holiday Star Wars figures, and they had the X-Men 97, and I actually picked up Magneto. So tomorrow, we will be reviewing Magneto, which I'm very excited for because looking forward to that figure. So, all right. Out of the package, here we go. So the first thing I always like to do, of course, as you guys are familiar with the reviews here on the channel, the stand test. Does he stand on his own? Yes, he does. So he stands on his own, no problem. A+ to me in my book. That's always the first test we do, and he just fell. So hold on, we'll see here. Let's see here. I kind of bumped into the table, so maybe that's why he fell. I'd say he stands on his own, right? I would say he does. So A+ in my eyes. A+ in my eyes. I saw a lot of complaints about this online, so I kind of wanted to go into this figure review with a blind or I guess a non-biased opinion. I will say there are glaring problems with this figure. There are absolutely glaring problems with this figure. I could just name you right now. His skin tones do not match. I don't know if the camera does it justice, but we will get into that when we get into the deep dive of the figure. But he has two, I guess, open hands for, I guess, when he's going to do his pose and his combat pose. So right hand, left hand, can't go wrong with that. I'm actually probably going to display, I'm probably going to display one hand like this, one hand with the fist, just to get a better, I guess, pose. And then we got a leg for the mindless one, and I will say this leg is heavy. If you get this figure and feel this Build-A-Figure piece, this is solid plastic. This is heavy. This is like probably like a pound, like no joke. Like this is heavy. For a Build-A-Figure comparison, I'd give it to the Molten Man from Far From Home Wave, if you guys are familiar with that. Pretty identical in terms of weight. So that's always cool. I don't know if we're going to build the full figure, but you never know. I might pick the rest of the wave up, but I'm only going to get 3 for sure. Maybe I'll pick up the rest of the wave. We'll see. So let's get to the figure now after we put these accessories to the side. So I will say out of the package, the figure feels good. The figure feels good in hand, which is always an A+ whenever you get a figure in hand. Because when you don't get a figure that feels good in your hands, you're going to tend not to like it. So out of the package, this figure feels good, right? This figure feels fine. But there are glaring issues. And one issue I've seen online, and now I can see it in person, because I said to myself, well, let me see it in person first before I actually make the conclusion, before, I buy it or not, which I was going to buy this figure anyways. This is definitive look Luke Cage or Power Man, whatever you want to call him, same thing. This is definitive look Luke Cage, and if you don't have a Luke Cage figure, I mean, you're going to need them. You're definitely going to need them for your Defenders set or Avengers, whatever shelf you want to put them on. They're all on my same shelf. They're all in the same set, so it don't matter. But there is a glaring problem, and his skin tones are off. So his hands, his head, and his torso are all different skin colors. I don't know if you can tell on camera, but in person, when you see this in person, you will absolutely tell. I don't know what they were doing with that. I'm not entirely sure what the plan was with this, but yes, so his hands are really light. His torso is very light. I mean, you could just see it just looking at the figure, and his head looks normal to me. So his head looks like the perfect shade, but the hands and the torso here are two separate different color tones, which I'm not entirely sure why. Hasbro quality control, maybe. Again, I'm not entirely sure what's up with that, but let's just, and then he falls again. All right, so let's see. My tripod's going this way. Let's go back this way. All right, so let's see. All right, so here's the head scan. We'll go head scan first. I think it looks great. Definitely gives me a 70s vibe. I don't know when this character was actually created by whoever created him, but this gives me an absolute 70s vibe. Just that the hair, the afro, and the silver, like very shiny silver in hand. It's really, really metallic-y silver headband. I like it a lot. Got a little bit of a sideburn going on there. So this figure screams retro to me. Hey, if they wanted to put this in a retro card, which they absolutely definitely could have at the end of the day, I wouldn't have complained, because this screams retro to me, like absolutely screams retro. So you never know. Maybe down the line they're going to reuse this figure and maybe put it in a retro card. You never know. You truly never know what Hasbro does. But overall, I mean, this figure, I like it. I mean, it's okay. It's not the greatest in the world. There's a lot of unique things to it. But let's look at the shirt. The shirt is molded on. I did see a problem, which we're going to get to with the movement here. We'll just show you right now. When you do that, of course, that is not good. So, as you see, his torso, or his armpit really, is exposed on each side of the shirt. Not good. That's what happens when you have molded on shirts. And honestly, genuinely, the only complaint I have with this figure is this. It's this. It's really glaring. If you have his arms up like I do right now, it is very glaring. I mean, you can't miss it. You really cannot miss it. So when you put this figure on your shelf, I recommend you keep his arms down somewhat and don't put them all the way up, because I mean, you can kind of still see it there, but it's way better than that. It's way, way better than that. So let's go over movement. Head goes around pretty much the full way. This collar, this yellow collar on his shirt kind of prevents him. You can kind of get it around, but you might nick some paint onto this if you don't be careful. I could definitely see that coming off, or some paint chippage on either. So arms, got the bicep, got the pinless elbows, which we could always appreciate. He has a silver cuff, and then his, of course, wrist movement. So he got the whole shebang going on there on each arm, of course. And now down to the torso. There is no ab crunch with this figure. There is no ab crunch. This is solid, no ab crunch, right? So if you thought there was an ab crunch in here, think again, because there is not. And for some reason, my tripod went that way. So my fault. I don't know what's going on with my tripod. Is it broke? I have no clue. But hopefully you guys enjoyed my look in my Hershey Kisses over there. But either way, getting back to the figure, the most redeeming quality with this figure in my eyes is this cool, chain belt he has on. I think this is awesome. I think this chain belt he has is probably the best feature of this figure, to be honest. I mean, you could keep it down there, or you could put it like that. Another problem a lot of people had with this figure is the lack of a waist swivel. So the waist swivel's there, but it's not your average waist swivel. It's not your average waist swivel at all. So look, we'll use Wolverine for an example. I guess I have Wolverine right here. You see, he moves all the way around. He moves all the way around, no doubt about it. You don't even have to think twice, right? But this figure, he only goes this far, which is, I mean, realistically, this is real human movement, which I'm not going to complain too much about this, but I saw people out there complaining this is as far as he can go. That's as far as he can go. But realistically, that is human movement. You're not going to twist your torso all the way around to a whole 180. So to me, that's okay. I mean, I don't have a problem with it. I really genuinely don't have a problem with this waist cut. But people I do see online are having problems with it. So again, it's all up to you at the end of the day. And then, of course, he has the splits. He could do the full splits. He has a thigh cut. He has pinless legs, or pinless knee joints. And then he has some elbow, or I should say some ankle pivot. Not much at all. You can go left to right, can't go up and down though. So overall, I mean, this figure is good. Is it the best figure in the world? Absolutely not. I don't know what Hasbro is doing. I mean, with the 3 different colors of skin tone on this figure, we do see it time to time. It's not too often you see it though, but it does unfortunately happen. So I'm not sure what causes it, but it is what it is. The most glaring problem is this by far. The most glaring problem of the entire figure is this. I mean, genuinely, how I would have done this figure, which I don't know if it would have been possible or not, I would have made this yellow shirt cloth. I would have put a cloth shirt in this figure, so that way we could have got an ab crunch and a proper waist swivel. Because why we don't have a proper waist swivel is this molded on shirt. This molded on shirt does not allow for that proper waist swivel or ab crunch. So if I was making this figure and I was working at Hasbro, I would have put a cloth yellow shirt on this instead of what we got is the molded on yellow, which honestly, it's not bad. But again, the holes under the armpits is a glaring issue. If you hold the elbows or the arms up, you will see it. There's no doubt about it. But overall, I will give this figure an 8.8. Why give it an 8.8? Simply because of the elbows, or not the elbows, but the armpits and lack of waist and ab crunch. The skin tone problem doesn't really bother me at all. If you look at it from afar, it's not going to really pop out. But if you look at it really closely, if you have a good eye, you will see it. But overall, I like the figure. I do like the figure. I like how his boots have like a flap on them of some sort. Very retro-y, very retro-y. Like I said a little bit ago, I can definitely see them doing this figure again with some updates to it, some tweaks in a retro carded packaging. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I'm just saying I could definitely see it because this figure screams 70s, 80s, whatever era. It definitely screams it. You could just tell it just screams it. So overall, guys, I like this figure. Again, you know, there's some issues, but it's definitely passable to me at least. So guys, let me know what you think about Luke Cage Power Man, and I'll see you guys in the next video.